brought you something that I wanted to show you. I've seen you that you get all the time in your interviews. You kind of get shut down. Like they don't let you
shut down in the sense.
They don't let you get to the climax of your discourse. So I just want to go to the point. I wrote this manifesto. Basically, it's the dichotomy between postmodernism, but in short words, it's a word that I pretend to get between the socialism and capitalism through the objection of Lacan's desire and object of how sex oppresses certain social classes. Through the implementation of the Kin Maya, the calendar Mayan, that is 13 months of 28 days. And also, in the most important part of all of this is through the exercise and the discipline of ambidexterity. So, are you familiar with the Ambidextrous Society in 1910, started by John Jackson?
No, sorry.
Not familiar? Okay, well, they had this, it was in England, they had the contraposition movement, which was the defenders of dominance, which were the people that were the actual right-wordists, which were founded by the elitists of the elitists, because in that time they wanted to, instead of found schools for ambidextrous kids, they wanted to invest on machines to get rid of. So that's when the actual Marxism, I think, starts to get sabotaged when they stop the advancement of the discipline of the self or the improvement of the self.
So what do you expect from me?
What is your vision? What do you think it should change to? What is the revolution or the evolution of the left? Is that the real way?
I will terribly disappoint you here, because I gave a speech recently in Spain, and the title was, and it was not meant ironically, a plea for bureaucratic socialism. That is to say, I think that the time has come, I mean, this will be a shock for you, where I stand personally, to reappraise big bureaucracy. I wouldn't like to live in a small community where we all collaborate and, organically we are connected, people talk to each other, we decide everything together. I would like to live alienated in a society where some authority state organizes things, provide, and I can live isolated. I like in modern life precisely this unity of, there is a complex texture of social life, but it's impenetrable to you. Things somehow work, and you can isolate yourself from it and be alone. It's totally crazy position. So I always tell to my friends, I think we need more alienation. We are too much connected. The problem is not that we are not. That's why we have all these problems with immigrant, racist problems, and so on and so on. Look, you remember a couple of years ago in Denmark, a journal published some caricatures of Mohammed. And then there were demonstrations all around the world and so on. Why? Because we are too connected. Like, all the world knew it. 100 years ago, nobody would have cared what is happening. I think we need to learn distance. And that's one aspect that I don't like in the United States. People are too, not everywhere, but in many places, people are too open to each other. My God, I meet a guy the same evening, he's trying to explain to me his sexual life and so on and so on. It's not that only that I'm not interested in it, but I find this repulsive. Like, I don't want to know yours or whoever's dirty secrets.
What is it, a problem of self-examination?
I hate it.
Feel
I don't like to look deep into myself. My conviction is if you look into yourself, you discover shit. I want to remain at the surface I think that's my general rule. A mask that you wear is more true and ethically higher than what you really are. If you look deep into yourself, you discover a lot of shit, these, that, secret desires, perversions, and so on and so on. I like people who keep a polite distance. And this, I think, is falling apart today. Look at Donald Trump. He is too open. That's why he is so vulgar. He says everything publicly there, all the obscenities and so on and so on. I'm for alienated polite. You know where, for me, humanity begins? When you meet a stranger, you say, "How are you? Nice to meet you." And we both know that you don't, or I, don't mean it seriously. It's just an empty phrase, "How are you?" Like in reality, fuck off, I don't care if you drop that. Or, "Nice to meet you, haha." But this is civilization, that you use these empty phrases. With them, you signal your friendliness, like they mean, I don't mean any harm to you, but at the same time, everybody knows that they are, in a sense, hypocritical. You don't mean it seriously. Like when you say, "Nice to meet you," everybody knows that this is just an empty phrase. Or when they ask you here, that's what I like, especially in New York, the waiter always asks you when you sit at a restaurant, "How was your day?" I mean, it's an empty question. You have to answer, "Oh, it was okay," but you appear a total idiot.
What is that? Only a cultural way of perceive it. I mean, me as a Mexican, we all are very open but welcoming, and we try to.
No, you are not. You are not. You are not. You also have manners. I don't think you are more open than Americans. You think you are more open in a different way, in a totally different way. Now, I told you that I'm a strange guy here, because it may appear that this violates what I was doing here, talking talking so openly, but this is a role I play. I am not that. Privately, I withdraw. I'm a very depressed person, and depressed in a very strange way. I enjoy my depression. I like to be withdrawn, depressed, and so on. That's peace.
You don't think that might be an unilateralization, maybe activity of too much rationality, of too much examination of the semiotic values of the reality, maybe?
I don't think you can put this, because first, I believe in unilaterality. I think truth is partial. I don't believe that the truth is holistic, that you have to see all the sides and so on. I'm totally crazy here. I think truth is one-sided. You have a phenomenon and there are 1,000 sides to it, blah, blah, blah. But you have to say, this feature only matters. All others are indifferent or whatever. I believe in this. And don't you think that also love is precisely unilateral? I don't believe in this holistic spiritual love. I love all the universe. No, love means I love you and fuck off all the others. Love is something extremely unjust. Love is a catastrophe.
That's a very romantic way of seeing love as well. Because
yeah, but it's aggressively romantic. Like, love is a brutal, violent thing.
you can also
Love means a kind of cosmic imbalance. Love means not holistic totality. I love you. You mean to me more than...
They've forgotten that our ancestors trounced an empire, tamed a continent, and triumphed over the worst evils in history.
But I know today this is not popular, because with these stupidities today you get what is nightmare for me, so-called polyamory. This idea you can be in love with more than one person. I simply don't believe in it. I think they use love in a different way.
That's part of the postmodernist ways of being. What do you think of postmodernism?
Okay. No, my position here is very strange. I'm a traditional modernist. I think the truly great thing happened with early modernity. Literature, music, atonal, Schoenberg, and so on. And I don't think that we are just regressing from that point.
Regressing from that, I mean, that's postmodernism. That's the point of
I'm regressing, and postmodernism is for me not even a positive view. It's just a confusion conceptualized. Postmodernism. I still believe in modernity. I think that modernity is not yet exhausted.
You also have stated that you think that postmodernism is sort of like a false mistress, because in most of their events or their shows, they intend to be exclusive. But they are not totally exclusive when they fall into this sort of elitist and maybe classicist flow or atmosphere. How would you change that? Is there has to be a new wave of...
But wait a minute, you are making me now too much a kind of a naive revolutionary, changes come. I don't think that, I don't believe in big projects in this sense, let's change things or whatsoever. It doesn't work in that way, I think. Which changes succeeded in this way? Look at Soviet Union, October Revolution. Yes, it was a big change, but what was the result? It was Stalinism, my God, and so on. I think that the first step is not change, just to step back and look at what there is. I think we are maybe too much engaged. I believe in stepping back and let's take a look at it from a distance.
And what about hybridization between postmodernism and that thing that you hate the most, which is maybe the holism, but in a way that is translated?
Yeah, you can of course do this, but it's already happening. Why do you think that this is something revolutionary or new? I think that today's culture is precisely this combination of postmodernism with some kind of a holistic thing. I think that even if many people today, even if they declare themselves Christians or whatever, the true spirituality today is what I ironically like to call Western Buddhism. It must be some pre-modern wisdom, and you want to return to some more holistic unity and so on. Even if you are from Mexico, okay, it's not Mexico, but I know a little bit Portuguese, and I read a wonderful book about, when there was military dictatorship 40, 50 years ago in Brazil, torturers, secret police, invented their own religion, not religion, authentic, but mystical view, to be able to do what they were doing, torturing. And they invented a kind of a new age mysticism, like reality doesn't matter, it's inner spiritual truth, reality is just a game of appearances and so on. And it served them wonderfully, You have there a guy, you are pulling out his nails, screaming, and you tell yourself, this is just a game of appearances, it doesn't touch the inner truth and so on. And even for the Nazis this goes. You know that Heinrich Himmler, the boss of SS, his sacred book was Bhagavad Gita.
Oh yeah.
You know why? Because he thought SS members have to do horrible things. You kill the Jews, even children. How to do this without becoming a brutal beast? His answer was Bhagavad Gita. Act as a distance, don't identify with what you are doing, keep your inner spiritual peace, and so on.
Justification for the atrocities.
Sorry?
Justification for the atrocities.
Yeah, this is why...
Did 2 minutes.
Sorry? Yeah. This is why I was never really in this idea that we need some more holistic, original view. No, you can justify, like, it's wonderful to read. This is my favorite book almost. What is the title? Buddhism at War, whatever. A guy who wrote a book, I quoted it often, I forgot his name, about how Zen Buddhist community in Japan acted during World War II and before, when Japan was engaged, no? They fully supported it, and they provided wonderful justifications. Like one of them, incidentally, Suzuki, the guy who was after the war, when you were young, hippie, popularizer. He wrote this, look, if you are still caught in your ego, then you find it difficult to kill somebody, because you think you are the agent, and my God, I'm killing you. But if you go through Buddhist purification, if you're in nirvana, you look at it in a, I'm quoting here now, in a totally different way. The idea is, me and you, we don't really exist. These are just flashing phenomena, dancing, and as part of this dance, my hand holds a knife, which somehow in this comic dance gets stuck into you. Nobody is responsible, and so on. And Suzuki literally proposed to Japanese army to organize Buddhist courses to make soldiers more efficient war machines. And I don't think that he was simply abusing Buddhism and so on. You have this dimension from the very beginning. Buddha himself was clear, but immediately after Buddha's death, when some kings became Buddhists, they had this problem. What about war? You cannot take it seriously that we don't kill living beings. And they immediately elaborated all these justifications, you know.
So just to finish, so you think the Holohibridism concept is a viable concept to mean?
Which concept be?
The Holohibridism.
Yeah, but I don't know exactly what does it mean.
It's right here.
Yeah, okay, but I cannot now, my God.
I'll give it to you, and
okay.
yeah, it's basically what.
Why do you say this? Our human nature to look after improving and progressing life. Now, this will sound as a cheap provocation. I don't agree even with American that, what is it, which, the declaration of, which, that all humans, pursuit of happiness. Yeah. Which declaration begins with?
Manifest Destiny?
Yeah, no, but that one, pursuit of happiness, you know. No, I think we do everything possible to ruin our happiness. I mean this quite literally. There is something in, okay, if you want human nature.
Declaration of Independence.
Yeah. No, I don't think we want to be happy. And I think it's not good to be happy.
I agree with you.
I think it's not good to be happy.
Yeah, it's a selfish.
If you are too happy, you are an idiot.
It's selfish.
It's selfish. That's a very good, much more intelligent criticism of Buddhism, is that it's so focused on your redemption. Fuck you, why should I care about you? No.
Yeah.
I don't believe in this focus on my redemption and so on. Sorry, I'm
gonna go give a talk. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah. Do this, and I will take
You
a break.
introduce me.
Yeah, I will take a nap.
Yeah.
I
that
say,
sounds
okay,
good.
sign
That sounds
here. You know what? I do this. Date is what?
5, 16, 18.
And name. Okay.